Yogena chittasya padena vacham malam sharirasya cha vaidyakena yopakarottam pravaram muninam patanjalim pranjaliranatosmi. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Right. Good evening to all of you. So it's a new chapter today. So we are going to start off with the Vibhuti Pada, the third chapter of Patanjali Yoga Sutra, which is a very important chapter because whatever you learned out of chapter 1, chapter 2, here is the place where you are going to learn how to put that into practice, plus the cautions, right? So, and we will learn why, right? Okay. So, right. Okay, you guys can still see me, right? Yeah. Good. Okay. So we talked about the chapter 1, chapter 2. So chapter 1 talks about the behaviors of the mind. Chapter 2 talked about the Bahiranga Yoga. What are Bahiranga Yoga? The external. Externally, what you can do. What are those? Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayama, Pratyahara. Right? Yam is certain ways of living. Niyam is like theories. You should do this. You should avoid these things. You must do this. Asana is the yoga poses, right? What is the sutra to remember that? Stiram, Sukham, Asana, right? I asked this question from a person who has learned a yoga whole program for like 1 year. What is a yoga asana? What's it? They don't know that, right? So Stiram, Sukham, Asana. Then Pranayam. Pranayam means like once you build the temple, the airflow has to be very well organized. Otherwise, even like a building, the fungus can take over, right? So that's very important that you do the pranayama. Then pratyahara, meaning detach. Do everything and anything and everything what you want in a detached form, right? So this is a must. These are a must. Now, one might think yam, niyam are like principles of living. My motto of living, I'm not going to steal, is your motto of living. Something like that. Then one would think yoga asana is to build body strength, to build balance of the body, to make your body nicer, and all this kind of thing. The pranayama, one would say, to enlarge the lungs, make sure that I live long, make sure that I don't get lung diseases, make sure that I don't get irregularities with my lungs. Then what about pratyahara? Let go of things, not to get attached to things, right? What is that then? That we can say, okay, fine. So if I live like that, I will not be sad because I'm not attached to anything, right? But when you go to Vibhuti Pada, which is the third chapter of Patanjali Yoga Sutra, you will understand a different shade of why these things are important, right? So Vibhuti Pada, right? So when you say Vibhuti Pada, there are a couple of things that we need to understand before we actually move into this particular chapter, right? So Vibhuti Pada explains what are the states that you can go through your yoga journey. Maybe through your meditation, maybe through your yoga asana, right? When you practice the yoga for a long time, what you can achieve, what you can get is what you are going to learn through Vibhuti Pada, right? So there is a big caution here. This is the same chapter where yogis become bogis, right? A yogi is a one who is going on a spiritual path to attain nirvana, moksha, being with one, unite. You can put any name with in any language, but it's the same destination. But this chapter actually tells you certain higher states that you can go. And this chapter will tell you, by going to these higher states, what are the things can happen to a sadhaka. Meaning, it's something like this. This is a bad example, right? But you will remember this example, okay? So you are going to a, let's say, yoga class itself, right? You are joining a yoga class. So when I joined the yoga class, of course, I didn't know what this is about even, right? So what is the end destination? What is the end of it? But I knew, okay, so this has something to do with it, but where I am going through with this, so very first day, the instructor came and did some asana. I was like, okay, by doing this, what am I going to get? Right? And just like sneezing, you try to do some pranayama. What are you trying to get out of that? Right? So, but a person who really understands yoga, he knows, okay, there are 8 limbs of yoga, right? So I am going to learn. So 1 and 2, totally up to me. If I am not doing it, nobody else can make me do it. I can teach you 100 days. This is yam niyam. I myself, if I am not doing, I am not a yogi. If you are not doing, you are not a yogi. Right? These are the foundation tracks. Without foundation, you can't build a house. No? So you have to have the foundation. Right? So a person, let's say the person goes to a yoga ashram, knows exactly, I want to learn Ashtanga yoga. Right now, I am very good with my yam niyam. Now I want to learn my asana. Once I do my asana, when I master it, I will go to pranayama. Then I will practice pratyahara, dharana, dhyana, samadhi. Through different techniques, I will go. So this person is very clear what his objective is, right? So now you go to the yoga ashram. So when you go to the yoga ashram, there are people, men, women, girls, boys, children, older people, everybody is there. Now then, after like 3 to 4 days of you doing yoga, you get stuck with somebody else. You see a nice girl, right? Or you see a nice boy, and then you lose focus. And then basically now you are coming to the yoga class to see that person, right? So Vibhuti Pada is a stage like that. So Vibhuti Pada explains, fine, this is where you are going to go, right? But now let's say I get a superpower. I can think right now, looking at Varuni from the screen itself, I can think what she is thinking. Let's see, right? Let's assume, right? I can't. Let's assume, right? So if that happens, then if I start a small business, so I tell my yoga students also, I can feel what you're thinking. I know what you're thinking. I know what's running in your head, right? Then I tell the answer, and the answer is very correct. Absolute correct answer. Then I try the trick with another person. Absolutely correct answer. Then what happens is, I become famous in that yoga ashram for that yogi who can read minds of others. Then what happens? People, every day I go there, Sunday early in the morning, then people start coming to me and say, can you tell me what I'm thinking? And all this kind of. Then I'm thinking, okay, so this is not fun, right? I will start palm reading, or I will start healing people. Something like that I will go to. So I will tell whoever comes to me, I will tell exactly what your problem is, right? And then I will offer you a solution, right? So now people start to come, $1,000 per 5 minutes, right? and you need to bring me a gift as well, with some Beatles on it and some all blah, 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 right? So then I start this, right? So I start this, I become rich. Suddenly my car becomes a better car. Suddenly my house becomes a better house. Suddenly my clothes start to become better clothes. So that happens, right? So Vibhuti Pada, before it starts, it says, here we are going to teach you how to go to Samadhi. So Samadhi is an internal journey. So we will tell you step by step how to go there. When you go to step by step, when you go 3 steps, what happens is you feel like, okay, I kind of get it. I get these different states. So then if you deviate from there, that's where from yogi you are becoming a bogi, right? So if you feel like you can feel what other person is thinking, right? Don't focus on that. You need to progress further, progress further, progress further, right? If you stop there, you are actually lost, right? So there are so much of people even in current contemporary world, right? So people can read the minds. When you walk in, they can read you, right? There are people who can do that, right? I mean, it's common. So there are people who can actually pass their positive energy to somebody else, right? So they can do a prayer. So things will change towards the person that person is focusing on, right? And that vibration will go to those people, right? So these things are there. But if you are a yogi, if you come to the yoga ashram, you should not, when you see the distraction, actually getting into different stages also will give you a distraction, right? You should not get distracted, right? So not being distracted and going continuously is what we call as samadhi as well, which we will learn today, right? So Patanjali exclusively tells, before you go into chapter 3, you must do your chapter 1, chapter 2, right? And then definitely when you go to chapter 3, keep that objective in your mind, where you want to go, where you are going, right? When you feel like, okay, I feel like so much relax in my mind, right? Then you should not put that energy or that state that you achieve to something else. Or if you feel like, now I feel like I'm connecting with the other person, I feel like I'm connecting with the nature, the tree, I can feel what my dog is thinking right now. If you get that, don't go on experimenting that. You have reached there. Now you have another state to go. So you must go there. That is important, right? Right. With that introduction, we will look into what we are supposed to do, right? So we talked about, so this is Ashtanga Yoga. Remember, all of you should be able to tell this by heart, because these are 8 things that you should master, right? Then key facts, knowing it, practicing, experiencing, and practicing it better. And then you should know what are the problems in practicing. Then we talked about what are one of the biggest problems that we have in practicing this is because we are in a rat race. If our minds are continuously working so fast, basically, then we don't have that pace, we don't have that patience. So it's important that you slow down, right? When you slow down, you do bigger things in a little time, effective things, right? Then we talked about the mind chatter. So there are so much of thoughts running in your mind all the time. At the moment that you attach with those thoughts, you get tired. But if you are a person, when these things are happening, you just in a corner, you're just watching. What is this mind doing? Right? Then you can actually move on. Right? Now, for an example, again, I'm just trying to elaborate this because I know that you don't understand this properly. right? So if you take fingers, what is the functionality of fingers? Basically this, right? And can you, how can I say, can you listen from your fingers? No, right? So can you hold something from your ears? That also no. Can you eat from your eyes? Can you eat from your nose? Can you eat from your skin? So eating will be done only from your mouth, right? Just like that, for each organ has its own function, mind also has its own function, which is continuous thought flows are being processed, right? You can't eat with the mind. You can't listen with the mind, right? Mind basically from these sense organs, it takes inputs and then it has the memory store. So you keep on processing. Sometimes you will throw certain things out of the memory as well to aid that processing. So that will happen, right? So if I tell you, okay, so you are eating from your mouth, no? Stop eating. Stop eating, you will reach moksha. What will happen? You will die. You are breathing from your nose. So I'm saying, stop breathing. Then definitely you will die. Now you have your eyes. I'm saying, stop looking. Stop watching. Right? After some point, you will be blinded, of course. Right? So on the same time, if I tell you, stop thinking, stop processing, stop the thought flows, stop doing that. Right? When you are meditating, stop thinking about anything else. Focus on your breath. Only do that. Can you do that? You can't. Right? So it's as simple as that. So mind's function is it's continuously moving. Thoughts. At the moment that you try to suppress it and forcefully stop it, you will end up in the mental hospital. Right? So what you are supposed to do is, okay, let the mind have the chatter. That's fine. But right now, I'm focusing on my breath. So inhaling, exhaling, inhaling, exhaling. Or I have a particular statue in front of me. So I put my focus there and I just keep on looking at that face of the statue, right? But here and there, so it will get distracted, right? And on the same time, while you are watching this also, millions of other thoughts are getting generated, ending. That process is also happening. Important thing is, if you are focusing on something, you try to focus on that, but you don't try to eliminate anything else which is running in your head. Then what happens is, after some point, you are not giving attention to that. You are not giving attention to the mind chatter which is happening. Right? Then the mind will be so aggressive, it will actually, to get your attention, it will pull the files, right? Your bitter memories or your most happy memories and throw at you. Still you are focusing on this particular statue or your inhale, exhalation. So after some time, what happens is, mind will keep on processing like that. Since you are not attaching yourself to what is mind is processing, mind will give up on you. But it doesn't mean that it has stopped functioning. It has stopped processing. No, processing is happening, but it doesn't disturb you anymore because you have gone beyond that, right? So that is a place where we are going to explain through chapter number 3, right? So we call this Antaranga Yoga. Antar is inside. Anga is parts, right? So it's a yoga about the inside parts, right? So Vata Yama Niyama again. So basically, since humans need to be put to the yogic path, there is a particular set of moral guidelines and particular restraints put in place, which is external. Externally, you have to do it, then it will come internal, right? Then asana also you're doing with your hands and all this. Pranayama also you're doing with your body. Pratyahara also, again, it's a mind work. Right? So I give something to somebody and I forget about it. I don't go after thinking about it. Right? So then all those are Bahiranga Yoga. When it comes to the full inside, we call it Antaranga Yoga. Now the inside job is starting. The internal job is starting. Right? So they are saying there are certain siddhis through, there are Ashta Siddhis, 8 Siddhis through practice of Antaranga Yoga, which you can come to. Right? They call it Anima, to become as minute as an atom. Mahima, to wax in magnitude. Laghima, then to become light. Then to become heavy, Dharima. Then Prapti, the power to dominate and obtain what one wants. Right? Then Prakamya, the freedom of will and attainment of wishes. Ishatva, supremacy overall. Then Vashitva, then that means the power to subjugate anyone or anything. So these things you will get if you practice this. But you should not get attached to any of these things. Right? These are states of meditation that you are going to achieve. You become light. So some people say monks fly over. Right? If you have read Ramayana, the Sundarakandam of Ramayana, 3rd or the 4th chapter in Ramayana, there's one chapter dedicated which explains about Hanuman's take off from India, the jump. Hanuman's jump, the take off from India and landing of Sri Lanka. So this should have happened in like few minutes time. Right? So he jumped from India, Bharat, and landed to Lanka. Right? So there is one chapter explains what happened from here to here with so many verses. So there they explain, so when he jumped, then there was a sea monster came up. So what he did is he shrinked his size to the size of a thumb. Right? And then he went inside the mouth of the monster, the sea monster. Then he expanded his size. Right? And then he came out of the body of came out like, just making a hole of the body, and he came out, and then he defeated the sea monster. Right? So Hanuman is a proper yogi. Right? So he could do that. Right? And then become light. For you to jump up you to jump up and fly and then come down, you have to be light. And for you to come down, you have to be heavy. And the size can be changed, right? And you will be able to dominate somebody. If you actually get out of this whole mind business, right? And then if you separate yourself from there, you are actually connected with the nature. With that, you can dominate anything, anybody's mind. You can do that, right? And you can not only dominate, you can manipulate as well, right? And then you can attain whatever you want, right? And once you connect with that, anything and everything can be achieved, right? So this feels like in the Patanjali's book itself, even the commentators themselves have said, this chapter, when you are going through, if you are not focused, if you look at this like a story, this actually looks like a fiction. This power comes, that power comes, and all kind of this thing, right? But it is true, right? Even Buddha, even Patanjali, even sages, even certain sages right now, they do these type of things, right? For you to float on the sky, you have to bring your weight minimum as possible. There are Shaolin monks right now. Today, even I watched a video, a Shaolin monk. So even if you go to become a Shaolin monk one day, they can walk on the water. They can walk on the water for like 100 meters, 200 meters, 500 meters. There is a pool or there is a lake like this. They have just put little light metals which is connected with each other with a small cloth, right? And definitely if you put the leg, it will just go and you will drown. But this monk starts the journey from one corner to the other. He just walks. How he walks is by reducing his weight through Antaranga Yoga, right? These things are very, if you go to Myanmar, Burma, right? These are places where you people have seen monks floating in the sky, right? And the Shaolin monk story, this is already there in the YouTube. Even there's a Guinness record also. There's one monk, he just walks. And then they can just balance their whole body on their fingers only, right? You put the fingers down and they balance. And they can stay 1 hour, 2 hour, 3 hour, maybe even days, right? So they have achieved that. These are possible things, right? Just because sometimes we are not ready, we should not assume that it's not real, right? Right, with that understanding, we will move on to the sutras, okay? So here, first sutra, right? Desha bandha chittasya dharana, right? Desha is desha in Sinhala. There's a meaning for desha. So that is deshaya, right? Meaning the place, right? So place or the region, right? Bandha is obviously connection, by combining, something like that. Connecting, combining, binding. Chittasya is the mind or the consciousness. Dharana is basically, that's what we are trying to define here. So Patanjali says in his first sutra in Vibhuti-pada, Desha bandha chittasya dharana, fixing the consciousness on one point or region. So that's where this one point or region is, where he used the word desha. Bandha is connecting. So connect with one point, connect with some one thing, one, literally one. Your mind. So you connect your mind with one thing, one place, one region is what is called as dharana. So dharana is bringing your concentration to a particular one thing, which is called as dharana. Seems like very easy, right? So I would ask, so any of you have been in this dharana situation for at least 1 second to 5 seconds, 1 minute, 2 minutes? Anybody? Have you been? If you, yes, you can put your hand. No, you can do this like Jantan. Nobody? No, not at all, right? Okay. Let me ask you a question. Is there a favorite song in this world that you like? Right? So have you felt when you are listening to that particular song, so you're listening to that song and now start to, just wave to the side, right? With the song's tune. And then the facial expressions also change and the hand expressions also change, right? And then you feel like even singing the song inside your head. Then after some time, you are even singing the song from your mouth as well, right? And then you totally forget everything around you and you are basically enjoying like a amurtam, just enjoying that song for a second. Haven't you been there? Don't tell me that you haven't enjoyed a single song in this world, right? That means you have a miserable mind. Come on, enjoy, right? Enjoy a little bit, right? So that's a point where you reach this particular point and come back, right? you basically go into a dharana for at least a second. So this is a place where, like, you forget where you are even standing. You forget your whole environment, who you were with, and all this. This is not like a drunken problem, right? So you basically connect to that particular thing so stronger that you even now, if you are a shy person, you will never, get into act on something, right? But if you connect to something like that, whether you're acting or not, or giving facial expressions or not, is something that you don't know. Out of your knowledge, it's happening. So you are connected with one thing. Yeah. So that's how, that sort of a immediate thing is what you call as dharana. Now don't think back and look, okay, where were my dharana points? Yeah. So yesterday morning while I was driving, no, that is not dharana. While you are driving, if you are listening to something, that is definitely not dharana. Something else is happening, right? Then you are not living right now. You must have met with an accident, right? That is not dharana, right? Then, so basically, fixing your mind at a particular point is what we call as dharana. Understood? Right?
Amal, is it through consciously or unconsciously? I mean, the dharana is
Consciously.
consciously. So now, if you're listening to song and movie, sometimes we completely forget about it, right? It just goes on until it's over. So it's like intentionally, I'm not focused. It's just I don't know. I just wanted to ask.
We'll wait. The first sutra, we just talked about dharana. No questions.
Okay,
Right?
okay.
We'll just wait. Okay, we'll wait. Right? If you ask the same question in 6 days, it'll be different. Right? We'll wait. Patience. Calm down, slow down. Okay, just teasing. Okay, so that is that. Okay, so fixing the consciousness on one point. Obviously, to fix the consciousness on one point, it has to be conscious. Unconsciously, you don't fix at one point. Unconsciously, you fall in love. That is not dharana. Unconsciously, those are the things that will happen, right? You get fixed with a particular trend, unconscious thing, but consciously you fix at a point is what you call as dharana. Okay, I'll explain once I complete the 4 sutras. I'll explain with a good example which you will remember this for life. Okay, so then second sutra says, yeah, there is a small spelling mistake here. It's not tetra, it's tatra. Autocorrect. Tatra pratyaya eka tatra pratyaya ekatnata, right? Ekatanata, one, right? Ekatanata dhyanam. From dharana to dhyanam, right? So tatra, there, meaning in those places of concentration. So in dhyana we said, in dharana we said, fixing your consciousness at a point is called dharana. So such places where you fix the concentration, right? Pratyaya, base, content. So that is a place of concentration. Then eka tanata, meaning continuous, right? In Sinhala, when we were learning, we say ekakara, velocity, or a constant velocity, we say. This is constant. Constant velocity meaning if you are driving at 60 kilometers per hour, you are driving at 60 kilometers per hour throughout. From 10 a.m. to 10:10 a.m., you are driving at 60 kilometers per hour. In that 10 minutes, 60 kilometers per hour only you are driving, right? So, ekatanata meaning continuous, uninterrupted flow like that, right? Is what you call as dhyanam. So dhyana means it's a steady, continuous flow of attention directed towards the same point or region is what you call as dhyana or meditation, right? So we say, when you sit down early in the morning, focus at your breath. So you continuously focus, right? Each split second. So you know while you are inhaling, okay, so air is coming in. You feel that, you feel that, you feel that, you feel that. And then air is going out. You feel that again, you feel that, feel that, feel that, feel that. Again, air is coming in, right? So in a continuous basis, we are trying to keep that focus, right? Okay, good. I will explain what is this ... means. Then, next, tadeva artha matra nirbhashyam swarupa shunyam iva samadhihi, right? Tadeva, the same, tadeva, right? Like the previous one, tatra, here they say tadeva. That particular dhyana or that particular previous state, artha matra, artha is, artha meaning an object or a purpose or an aim, artha, particular subject. Matra, I'm using a different machine, so I'm having problems. Artha matra, meaning only that, one, only that particular purpose, one purpose, that only purpose. Nirbhasham, meaning appearing, whatever that particular object is appearing, swarupa, that particular form, shunyam, empty, eva, as it were, right? Meaning samadhi. That is like crazy. Okay, let's understand, right? When the object of meditation engulfs the meditator, appearing as the subject, self-awareness is lost, right? Meaning this is called samadhi. What does this mean, right? This means, so there is a particular object, right? So I focus on that. So now I close my eyes and I think about it. And I keep on thinking about it. Thinking in the sense, not thinking, meaning I'm not processing, right? I keep my focus there. So a particular statue is on my head. So I keep on watching that. That's the only thing which is in my head. So here and there, certain thoughts come and disturb and go. Here and there, again, some thought come and disturb and go. Again, some thought come and disturb and go. But again, I bring that attention to the same place, right? So when you do that on a continuous, without dropping, if you do that, what happens is you dissolve in that particular thing, right? So when you dissolve in that, basically your I-ness, myselfness is gone. Did you understand that? Say no? Very good, right? Which means, let me explain it like this, right? So now, right now, even when I'm teaching here, your mind is running all over the place, right? That is happening. That is the truth. That is the human nature, right? Mind is running all over the place, right? So when your mind is running all over the place, if you don't pay attention to the thoughts coming in your head, what happens then? Now when I'm looking at the screen, so I see my slide. I see you guys on a slide, on a side. So I see different poses that you guys are taking. So when I look at maybe Varuni's this thing, I see some background, there are certain things. I see Janthan's fan is moving. I see Dushyanti. Dushyanti is in a perfect place because very less things to think. Only her face is there on the picture. Even her dress and the wall is the same color. Perfect way. Right? No distractions at all. Only her. Look at her screen, everyone. Right? So if you see her screen, only the, don't get uncomfortable, right? Only the shadow is there, right? So there's nothing much to think. That's Dushanti's face, that's it. Nothing in the background, nothing. Right? So I look at Bharata, I know, okay, he doesn't have electricity right now. And I look at Shamzira, I see some curtain. And I see the other two people, iPhone and Nilushi, I don't see anything. Right? That doesn't mean that, you don't see anything. Yeah, it's perfect. Right? So what happens is, so even right now, when I'm talking, there are certain thoughts coming into your head. You will only deviate if you pay attention to that. Yeah? So there are thoughts coming into your head. Now, for an example, you hear some noise outside. So immediately while in the class, if you try to figure out what that is, you will lose the word Swarupa here. So by the time you come back, he has already explained and moved on. Hasn't that happened to you? It has happened to me. I'm pretty sure you also have, even in this class itself, you must have experienced that. So you miss like 5 seconds, 10 seconds, something is gone. While you are listening to a song, sometimes why do you have to rewind that and play again? Because your mind, even you are listening to the song, mind has gone somewhere else and then you lost it. Especially if you are listening to a particular lecture. Now, even this one, if you listen to the recording later, so sometimes you might have to rewind again and again and again and listen. That happens to me, right? So there are some 1 hour to 2 hour lectures. By the time I'm finished, I must have listened to that like 6 hours. I must have spent like 6 hours because my mind has lost its focus, ran somewhere. During that time, this one, even it was playing, even it was coming to my ears, I'm not getting that, right? So how that disturbance happens is you have a particular self, right? You right now, instead of putting your focus here, for a minute or for a few seconds, you attach yourself with that particular thought, right? Then you get deviated in that. Even though from your speakers, even if you're wearing your headphones, even it's being poured to your ears, if you lost focus, meaning there is a different thought comes, you attach yourself to that, you will not hear this. You won't hear this, right? So basically, there is a beautiful self inside you. They say in Buddhism, there is a Buddha inside you. There is a Yama inside you. All these gods are inside you, right? So this beautiful Buddha inside you, right? Imagine he as the person, meaning he is the self. And this thought engine is happening here, right? So the moment you take your eyes off from this Buddha and looking to this thought process, what happens is you lose the Buddha for a minute. Yes? Right? So, likewise, what happens is, so you are focusing on something. Then that is what you call as Dharana. You fix your mind at one thing. You fix your mind at a particular food. So when you fix that mind at a particular food, even though the food is in the screen, you start to feel the taste of that. Right? You start to feel the smell of it. You start to hear that you are eating that, the crispiness and all of it. Right? You start to live in that. Right? Then what happens is suddenly, oh no, these things, suddenly the yoga teacher comes to the picture and then that whole thing is gone. Right? Don't eat it. Too bad food. Right? Don't drink it. Right? But what happens is the next stage, you have the food plate, you keep on focusing on that, keep on focusing on that, focusing on that, focusing on that, focusing on that, then everything else becomes zero to you. Right? Then it says, after a point that you focus totally into this, right? Full time, if you focus into this, right? You basically, now when you are concentrating into something in a constant manner, you basically merge with that thing. then there is no yourself. Right? You are not there anymore. Right? You have merged into that. There's no other person. So this is the stage, what they call as Samadhi. Right? Can I take a bad example and make you remember this for life? Is that okay? Right? But don't take it personally. Okay? So here's a bad example. So you see a beautiful person. What is the Dharana stage? So you look at that person and then it's fine. Again, you look at that person, then look outside, right? So at the moment that you look at that person, you feel so good. I looked at that person. There are songs also, at least to look at your eyes for a minute in a week or in a whole kalpa, just to look at your face for a second. There are songs like that, right? That is a dharana stage. I am trying to put my focus at one point, right? So it is like this particular single dot, right? For a point only, I focus. Then what happens is, I come home. Now the person is not with me. Now the person is at somewhere else. You are at home. Still, now you keep on thinking about that person. Now what is that? The dhyana stage, right? Trying to always, when you eat, you remember the person. When you sleep, you remember the person. You say, no, that guy in the band, no, hita in the band, all these kind of things. So that is the dhyana stage you are reaching out of that particular thought, right? Then, so it actually appears like this. Right now, this is the morning, early morning. When I get up, I can focus at you. I can see your face. Then while I'm eating, I can see your face. Then while I'm drinking, I can see your face. Then while I'm dressing, I can see your face. Then while I'm working, I can see your face. This is the dhyana stage. Okay. Then Samadhi stage, meaning I am totally into you. I have lost myself. That happens, no? In relationships, you totally into that person, you fully into that person, you want to be that person and you lose yourself. What do you say, Jayanthan? No? Got it? Bharata, what do you say? Have you lost like that? Yeah. Varuni, understood? Dushanti got it? No, not convinced, right? So that's fine. Huh? Who is there? Okay. Right? So that Shamsira, yeah? Yes or no? Yeah. Super away in Samadhi, right? So I'm not trying to make it a joke out of this, right? So I'm saying basically what happens is in your meditation, right? When you sit down in your meditation, initially focusing at a point is very hard. At the moment you close your eyes, all the thoughts come and dominate, right? So for you to focus at one point is very, very hard. So that's where people give, okay, focus at the sky, focus at the air, focus at the wind, focus at the ocean, focus at water. So you give some particular object for you to focus, right? So if you are focusing on water right now you're thinking about water, suddenly a fish comes. Now you focus on the fish, again, oh, no. Fish is not the object. Water is the object. You come back, right? So this dharana stage is hard. Put the focus at one point, right? Then what happens is you little by little try to, you focus and try to maintain it. Try to maintain. So focus, and try to maintain it. The Samadhi stage, meaning like fully you are focusing. So yourself is attached to that and you are fully in that. There is not a single moment of gap. So in that case, You are not giving any priority to whatever running in your mind. You are not giving any priority to whatever around you, the wind or any noises, whatever you gather to your ears, to your nose, nothing. So basically, then you become part of that, right? So it's like there is a dot, like a Morse signal, right? There's a Morse signal like a beep, right? And then Dhyana stage is like beep, 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 beep. Then Samadhi stage is you press the beep very close, very close. The intervals to distract are very minimal, like beep, 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 beep. And then when you practice for a long time, intense practices, this beep, 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 separate noises will not come. It will become like a beep, long one sound, right? So that is what you call as samyama, meaning these three together, dharana, dhyana, samadhi, constitutes integration. So this is what you call as integrate with the nature. Yoga is to become one with the nature, right? So becoming one with the nature is basically what you call as dharana, dhyana, samadhi. This is what you call as samyama, right? The discipline of becoming that. Yeah, got it? So at these places only, now let's say you are focusing on a particular person's energy level, right? So what happens if you focus on that particular person's energy for a constant time? You can actually become one with that particular person. So that's where people do all this mental healing, and all these mental thoughts are being put to different people, or change the people and all this kind of thing, right? So basically that's what you call as samyama, right? And you have to be very careful. So when you're going in this journey, if you can focus at one point for 5 minutes, next day try to do it 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, right? That's your meditation. Your meditation is actually initially be consciously watch your mind. Watch this mad dog, what this mad dog is doing. Watch this mad monkey, how it's running, right? So then you try to be, don't get disturbed. You close your eyes. Your mind is running with all sorts of things, whatever you are engaged, your day is about, right? Keep on running, but you just keep on watching. What happens is then your mind will actually throw certain trumps to get your attention, but you are not being shaken, right? So when you continuously do that, what happens is your mind will actually give up. Your mind will give up on you. So then you can actually, whatever you want, you can focus. Right? Otherwise, this chatter will come and keep on disturbing. So you need to tell or tame your mind in such a way. Yeah, you as the mind, your job is processing, keep processing. Right? Not bothered. Keep processing. But I'm still. Right? Then only you actually gain the ability to concentrate on something. Concentrate on the breath. So while you're concentrating on the breath, never stop the breath, right? If you end up in a particular pace and if you come down in a particular pace, you continuously do it, continuously focus on that. While doing that, this guy is chattering, but don't pay any attention or don't attach yourself to this one. Let him do his job. After some time, when you keep on continuing this chattering will understand, there's no point me trying to disturb this person. Can't disturb this person. But the chattering is happening. At a point, you will not know what this bugger is chattering about, because you are not even attaching yourself to even 0.001% to that mind chattering, right? So that's a place where you focus on something, continuous focus, and you are at a samadhi stage, right? So Patanjali explains on the next sutras to come, he explains how to do this meditation. How to do this meditation, how it feels like, what sort of an environment you need to do this meditation, what exactly are the steps and all, he start explaining, right? So that's why I said this is important. Now I have a question. So why we learn this whole yama, niyama, asana, pranayama, pratyahara for to do this? No point. Right? Doing an asana, there are few things. One is the movement, right? One is the breath. We say go to downward dog. So inhale, exhale, and you go to downward dog. So there is a movement, there is a breath, right? What else is there? If the movement and the breath to come together, you have to have the concentration, right? Try to do any balancing yoga asana without, you can have the breath. You can do all the breath you want. You can try to do the movement as well. But if the concentration is not there, you cannot go to that asana. How easy that is for you. So there are days, this happens to me. I'm sure you are experiencing the same thing. When my mind is like so cluttered, right? When I'm in a really a bad mood, maybe, right? So many things are going around. Easiest asana, easiest yoga asana, you can't do. Haven't you experienced that? Right? For an example, there are days you try to do Padahastasana and you fall forward. You are even standing and you fall forward, trying to do Padahastasana. Why? Breath is there, movement is there, concentration has to be there. So, for an example, yoga asana, doing yoga asana is a preparation for you to go, so through Bahiranga yoga, to go to Antaranga yoga, to Dharana, Dhyana, Samadhi. That's where you do the yoga asana, right? And yama niyama. When you do those things, what happens is basically you are trying to stay away from the things that build kleshas, build samskaras to you, right? So when that happens, actually your mind, your thought process, all your bodily systems, right? Tangible, intangible, everything basically it purifies and bring you to a calm stage. Now, can't you be happy if you haven't stolen anything from anybody? Isn't there a happiness inside you? If you are not lying, I haven't lied to anybody in this world. You are one of the most free people on this planet without stress, right? If you have not killed even a mosquito, right? That itself is a tranquil feeling that you are getting, right? So those two are extremely important, right? So when you do those things, basically you are in the good books, right? You are living with the Buddha, you are living with the gods, you are living with Shiva, you are living with Jesus, right? While you are there, then you need to do your yoga asana, to build that ability to concentrate into something. Sometimes I see when I explain to do a yoga asana, so while I'm explaining, while I'm demonstrating, you try to do, fails. So what I do is I just observe. This is a classic example, right? So what you need to do is when you are teaching a yoga asana, first of all, learn that discipline. Learn to listen, learn to watch. If I say slow down, don't do it today, you should be able to knowing the technique, being able to do it, but not do it. Right? That's the samyama. Again, it's a discipline. Right? Then, while you are doing, now you should not think about the second step while you are doing the first step. There is no concentration there. First step concentration is first step concentration. You are not thinking about the second step while you are doing first step. There are certain yoga asanas I have taught you in the class live, which I have done for the first time in my life. Certain yoga asana. So I realized that I can do it while in the class itself, right? And then I'm like, sometimes while I come to the yogasana, I immediately drop from the yogasana because I think about it. Oh, this happened. How come? And suddenly the down, you fall down, right? So if you know the technique and all, then you do your stretches and everything. You step by step focus, breath, movement, concentration, breath, and the movement. If you do, you can bend your body in any way that you want. It's not a big deal, right? I could never do this standing down, keeping my fingers down, and then lift the body up and then straighten the legs, right? But I have done that in the classes. So that particular one I did actually in front of the screen for the first time. I haven't done it before. I have tried to do it, but you haven't. So that's actually a result of we try to focus on our breath, try to calm down, we do all that, and then you properly think what you are supposed to do. Okay, keep the fingertips down, and then if you want to lift up, you need to make sure that your body weight is lower. So bring all the air out from the body, make it lighter, right? And then you can lift up. Then what are you supposed to do? Now, do you want to straighten the legs? Okay, you have the balance now. Straighten the legs slowly one by one and maintain the balance. You can do it. Not a big deal, right? So with that, that's actually a preparation for you to come to your Dharana Dhyana Samadhi. So that's where yoga asana plays a vital role. It's not just fancy or expensive yoga clothes and recording a video and putting it in YouTube or something, TikTok or whatever, and then get views and nonsense. No, it's an internal job that you are doing. Even if you wear anything or you not wear anything, it doesn't matter. It doesn't really matter, right? Internal jobs are like that. Right? So from now onwards, when you are doing a yoga asana, you basically, okay, you are supposed to do Padahastasana. So how to do Padahastasana? Obviously, when you bend down, you need to put the air out. Exhale, right? Then what are you supposed to do? If you want to bend down, you are not bending through the spine. You are bending from the hip. So extend the spine, right? Extend maximum, hold the legs, and then while exhale, you come to that. It will come. Right? So you doing yogasana with these three things is not a big deal. But doing yogasana to show off that your body can bend and you can do all this kind of thing, it takes a long time. Right? Because you lose one factor out of it, which is the concentration. Maybe even breath as well. You do the wrong breath, you will never come to that yogasana. You can come, side effects, different bodily problems will come. Right? And then pranayama again. So pranayama also, while you are doing the forceful exhalation, you have to keep the concentration. That's where we say, if you're doing pranayama, if you're doing Kapalabhati breathing, your 120 strokes has to be, every particular stroke has to be like the same. And the difference or the time between two strokes has to be the same. At least 40 strokes. Then you can change the space, something like that. So breath again, movement and concentration. Otherwise, stiram sukham will not come. Stira will not come because you are doing it wrong. Sukha will never come when you're doing it wrong, right? Asana, it's not an asana if the stiram and sukham is not there, right? So that's the importance of doing a yoga asana, right? I have a particular example. The person is also in this class, right? Yeah, no, the person is not there anymore, right? So they cannot do yoga asana. So one day, with full concentration, without any single stretch, the person came to perfect sarvangasana, right? But then when you come to sarvangasana, you're so happy you did it, then you lose the concentration, then you come down, or the neck pains, right? That will happen. So that's why this is doing a yoga asana. This is not a mere exercise. We are not doing fashion. We are not doing hot yoga. We are not doing whatever you call in this contemporary world in a commercialized manner, right? We are practicing the movement, breath, and concentration. Concentration is the start of everything, right? And for you to go there, you have to have, free of regrets, free of kleshas, right? That is your yama and niyama, right? So when I say building a temple, it's not a mere building that I'm talking about. Temple is a place that we know it's free of kleshas. Whatever your religion is, whatever your belief system is, a temple is a free of klesha place. You don't go to a temple wearing a bikini, no, right? You go to a temple wearing a proper dress. Why? Because there's a particular discipline there, right? So building the temple, when I say building the temple is yoga asana, I'm not saying build a strong and a tall temple which will last forever. No. Build the temple means remove the kleshas, right? Make it a peaceful place. Make it a place where you can concentrate, right? Then that's the foundation for you to go to dharana. Keep your focus at one point. Dhyana, make it for extended places. Samadhi, meaning you dissolve yourself in that. Right? You dissolve yourself into that, meaning there is no separate person anymore. You are one with that. Unity has happened. This is what you call, even it's a stage of nirvana, but exactly not. Buddhist nirvana and samadhi in yoga, actually it's like two different places. Right? From samadhi to nirvana, there is a stage. Yeah? Got it? Understood? Right. So we only did 4 sutra today, right? So good things are yet to be taught, right? Yet to be discussed. So it will take some time, but this chapter 3 is the like the essence of it, right? So if you are a person, you consciously you focus with your yama and niyama, right? It's not that I want to eat meat, but since I should not kill, I should not eat. No, take that whole phenomena out of it, right? I want to tell a lie to somebody and see how that person is suffering, but because of this whole yoga thing, I will not know. That whole thinking line of thoughts has to be come out, has to be taken out, right? Then you don't have an urge or a need or a happiness that you are getting out of telling a lie to somebody. Right? Then imagine what sort of a pure person that you can become, right? So imagine you are not harming anyone, not even through your words, not even through your limbs, not even through your mind. So if you don't have harming even thoughts inside your head, imagine what sort of a pleasant place that would be. You are almost living in heaven. You are already living in heaven. That's it. Then imagine if you are only talking the truth. Whatever somebody asks, you're talking. Now somebody is telling there is some woman, right? You are attracted to certain places of that person, right? So now tell the truth why you are attracted to that person, right? For you to tell that truth, if you are samyama enough, right, you will be attracted to that person in a different layer, which you will be able to even verbalize because that klesha part has gone out. Right? You have gone beyond that. You are not attaching yourself to too much into anything, right? So you have everything what you have inside your room. It doesn't matter whether they exist or they don't exist. If somebody come and just take it, that's fine. That's okay, right? If somebody come and give you, yeah, okay, that's fine. They'll leave it there and go, right? Then non-stealing. You don't desire for anything. Stealing can be physical, stealing can be emotion, thought level stealing, right? If you're not doing that, then aparigraha means non-attachment, right? Then again, niyama, cleanliness, cleanliness in the body, word, and your action. Containment, right? And then tranquil, the zeal for life. Tapas, meaning you are always burning out your kleshas, right? If you have a big desire, or if you have, let's say, okay, I have a question. I will ask that, right? So just say tapas, then self-study, then surrender, right? So if you are living in these two, imagine what sort of a person you would be. You are like a god already, a good god, not yama, right? Good god, right? So the question today is, people are living, most of the time they are giving answer, I want peace of mind. I want peace of mind. Sometimes when you are angry also, you are saying, please give me some peace of mind. Or you are getting angry because you have lost your peace of mind, right? How can you achieve peace of mind? We will discuss that question after the session is over, right? So we did 4 sutra today, and we will move on with the rest of the sutra next week. Okay, so we will close the session and we will answer that question. We will discuss that question. Okay, right. Now, while you are closing the session, don't be pressurized. Oh, I have to find an answer to that question, right? You don't worry. Right? Keep your hands in Anjali Mudra. Stay in silence for a few seconds. Only hear the sound of your inhalation, exhalation. Only movement is your inhalation, exhalation, chest and the body. Deep inhale. सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः, सर्वे सन्तु निरामया, सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु, मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत्. ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः.